Malayalam, English. Great. Yeah, so great. So we'll start the session. So this is actually the first day of the 5-day workshop, which is actually making you to prepare for the TCS NQT 2025. Okay. So this is a session that we Entri are offering for those who are preparing for the TCS NQT 2025. No, before we start the session, I just want to give you an idea regarding the TCS NQT exam. So you might know that to get a job in TCS as a fresher, you have to give the TCS NQT test. So NQT stands for National Qualifier Test. Okay. So this National Qualifier Test is conducted by TCS on every year, and this test actually recruit people from the ongoing courses. Okay, so you need to understand one thing. So you will be eligible to write this particular test, TCS NQT test, only if you belong to a particular set of courses, and only if you are going to complete your course in 2025. So if you have completed course in 2024, course as in your degree course. So if you completed your course in 2024 or 2023 or any year before that, okay, then you will not be eligible for TCS NQT. So I hope you know that the TCS NQT registration is going on right now. No, 2018 is not eligible. This is only meant for 2025 graduates. That means those who are studying currently in the college, final year in the college. So we have mentioned that specifically as an eligibility criteria. So those who are not belonging to 2025, if you want to stay in the session, you can stay actually, because like if you look for any companies, specifically IT companies, the some of the test patterns, they might ask you aptitude, coding round, coding questions, etc., etc. So if you want to learn something, then you can stay back actually. Otherwise, TCS NQT is a test conducted by TCS to recruit people to TCS, and this is only for the students who are currently in the final year of their college. Those are going to graduate in 2025. If you have completed your graduation anywhere before that, you'll not be eligible to write TCS NQT. There is no problem in attending the session because this is just a preparatory session. Okay, so I hope you're clear with that. All right, so let's start the session. So my name is Deepak, and I head the placements and corporate relation at Entri app. So Entri app is India's largest vernacular language upskilling platform actually. So we offer multiple courses in coding, commerce, and all. We try to help graduates to develop a skill, a project-based skill by different courses. So we also offer a support for the placement assistance also. So as part of our initiative to help graduates to get a better job, that is why we plan to conduct this particular session actually. All right, so let's start the session. So again, just to brief you about TCS NQT. So it is actually a national wide qualifier test conducted by TCS, and it happens across India. Okay, anybody who is actually in the final year will be eligible to write. So the registration, I believe it started somewhere in Feb mid or something. It is going on. The registration will close by I guess 23rd of March. So if you go and go in Google and search for TCS NQT 2025, you'll get the first link, which is the TCS registration portal. You can go there and register only if you're studying in your college right now. Okay, you are doing your degree course and only belonging to a particular degree. So I'll mention what are the degrees who are eligible. Okay, now what is the purpose of this test? You know that TCS is the largest company in India, and they hire the maximum number of people every year. So they hire the maximum number of freshers every year. So this particular test is meant to hire programmers or IT employees to TCS. So it evaluates the skill and competencies of entry-level graduates and freshers, facilitating into recruitment into various roles, different roles actually. Okay, so let's dig into the different job roles actually. So there are 3 different job roles that you'll be able to get if you clear this exam, then complete your interview round, etc., etc. So it's not just the test also. So after clearing the test, then you will be having a interview round as well. Okay. Now, what are the different roles? So the basic one is Ninja, TCS Ninja. They call it as TCS Ninja. And if you clear that, then you can eventually become a software tester or a Java and Python developer or a web developer, etc. And the package will be in the range of 3.3 lakh to 3.36 actually, because as I told you before, certain undergraduate courses, okay, bachelor's courses are eligible and certain master's courses are eligible. So for undergraduate students, the salary package, if you get hired, will be 3.3 lakhs per annum. And for postgraduate, it will be 3.6 lakhs per annum. All right. Now there is a cutoff for the interview. So after clearing the test, there will be a interview which will be happening, and top 20 percentile, okay, will be getting this particular offer actually. Okay. Then there is another role which is called TCS Digital. Now here, if you clear the TCS Digital, then you will become a full stack developer or a web developer or say backend developer or Salesforce or SAP. Things like that. And the salary package will be in the range of 7 lakh to 7.3 lakh. So for undergraduate, it is 7 lakh, and for postgraduate, it is 7.3 lakh. Now, only the top 5 of those who meet the criteria will be eligible for this. Then there is a new criteria which TCS introduced last year onwards. It's called TCS Prime. Okay. Now, TCS Prime is a very coveted position actually. If you clear the TCS Prime, then you can become a machine learning engineer or Gen AI engineer or a cyber security specialist or a business intelligence engineer or a data scientist. Now, the salary package will be for undergraduate, it is 9 lakhs per annum. For postgraduate, it is 11.5 lakhs per annum. And only the top 1% of the people who clear the interview will be eligible for this. Now, for also getting the prime roles, you should have other certification. Apart from having the graduation, you should be certified in AI or ML or cyber security, any other extra certification you need to actually complete it. Okay. All right. Now, how is the recruitment process? Okay. So first, as I told you, there will be an online assessment test. Now, for the online assessment test, there are 2 parts. That is foundational section as well as an advanced section. Okay, then there'll be a technical interview. After that, there'll be an HR interview. Okay, so these are the 3 sections actually. So there'll be a test, online assessment will be there. Then there is a technical interview. Then there'll be an HR interview. Now, as I told you before, Ninja, you just need to have a good performance in the foundation section. As I told you, there are 2 sections, foundation section and advanced section. So for Ninja roles, the basic roles, you just need to have a good performance only in this section. But if you want to get a digital role, which is like a bit more high paying and better role, then you should perform well in both the test sections, part A and part B. Okay. Now for the prime offer, you should have excellent performance, not just good, excellent performance in both the parts. Okay. So I hope it's clear. Any question, you can just put in the comment. Do you have any questions? Yeah, Arun, please go ahead.
So I'm making sure something. Is it only for current graduates, like people who are studying in college?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told. It's only for, the TCS NQT test is only for people who are currently studying in the college, final year.
Okay, no one else can apply.
No one else can apply.
Okay.
All right. So who all can apply for actually TCS? So that's the part that I'm going to explain here. So anybody who is in the final year, okay, final year, that means the last year of BE or BTech or MCA or MSc Computer Science. So So these are the only courses which are eligible: BE, BTech, MCA, or MSc Computer Science. They are eligible to apply and attend this hiring process. Okay, and part-time courses are not permitted. They are not allowing part-time courses. Only full-time courses will be considered. Distant courses are not allowed. You have to do the regular course, and you should have a percentage of 60% or above, or 6.5 CGPA. That is a requirement with respect to the mark. And with respect to backlogs or arrears, they are not permitting any backlogs. So if you have backlogs, then you are not eligible. Okay. And the gap or the break in the education should not be more than 24 months. So say suppose you have, say, completed your 12th standard, then you took a break for like 3 years, then again you started doing your degree course, then you will not be eligible actually. So the criteria is that only maximum of 2 years gap in your education is allowed. See, most of the multinational companies, okay, they have this condition actually. So because they want to restrict the number of people who are taking the test. That is why they have all these conditions. So if you are not a graduate, if you are not belonging to BE, BTech or any other courses, and if you have a IES and all, then mostly it will be difficult to get a job in an IT company these days. So what is the alternative that you want to get into an IT? Better you start your career in a startup. Okay. For startups, they don't mind with respect to your degree, your year of graduation to a certain extent. So if you have a very big career gap, like above 5 years and all, then it will be a problem. Okay. And if you have back papers and all, again, certain startups, they don't bother about your degree qualification, etc. But for that, you should have good skill set. You should be certified, or you should have enough projects in your resume. Otherwise, it is very difficult to get into an IT company. So the most of the major IT companies like TCS, whether it is Wipro, whether it is Cognizant, when they hire freshers, either they will hire people who are currently studying in the college, or say maybe the previous year. Say for example, Wipro is actually hiring now actually. So they are hiring only 2024 batch actually. So those who completed graduation the last year, 2024. So if you are a person who completed graduation in 2024, then you can check about the Wipro recruitment. Okay. So most of the MNCs only hire like that. If you have a huge career gap and all, it's practically very difficult to get into an MNC. Okay. So probably if you want to start your IT career, then do some courses, get certified, and then try to get into a startup or start doing internship, then get experience. Then you can move to other companies. That is the only guideline that can be followed. All right. Now the streams which are eligible: BE, BTech, ME, MTech, MCA, MSc, or MS Computer Science. These are the ones who are eligible. Okay. Now talking about the work experience. Sorry. Experience up to 2 years are eligible only if you are MTech. Okay. If you are a MTech graduate doing your final year study, if you have an experience of 2 years, then they will consider that. For BTech graduates or MCA graduate, if you have already an experience, they will not consider you for the test. And the age should be between 18 and 28. So I hope it is very clear. So the NQT, you can write the NQT test only if you meet this particular requirements. I hope it's clear. Now, when it comes to the online assessment, the first round of the hiring process after the application. So once you complete your application, then you will be having your assessment round. So as I'm informed that the assessment test will start from 15th onwards. So it is basically, they will inform you, they will send you a mail with admit card where will be a test center. So according to that, you can actually go and write the test. So as I told you, if you haven't done your registration, go to Google, search for TCS NQT 2025, the first link, TCS careers link, go there, register yourself for the exam, because the registration is on till 23rd of March. but the 23rd or 19th, I'm not exact. I'm just confused now. So I guess it is 19 or something. So anyway, the test is going to start. Those who already registered, the test might start from 15 onwards. Okay. Now, as I told you, after you complete your registration process, they might send you a admit card, and that will have the details of your exam. Now, as I told you, there are two parts in your test. One is a foundation section, which is very important for the ninja role. You have to clear that. Okay. Then there's an advanced section. Now, advanced section is only important if you are aiming for digital or the prime roles, like a better package or a better role. If you're aiming for, then you should clear the ninja part, that is the foundation part, also the advanced section as well. Okay. Now, foundation section, what are the questions that you have? Now, these are actually there on the website of TCS. Okay. They haven't mentioned about how many questions are there. They have told how much time the section will be. So foundation section is mandatory to perform well for eligible for the ninja role. Okay. So as I told you, there will be 4 sections. Now all the questions will be multiple choice questions. So it is not where you type in the answer or something. You just need to select the correct choice, MCQ. Okay. So there will be numerical ability section. So in this section, there will be 20 questions. That is what we had last year. So 20 questions will be there, which you need to solve under 25 minutes. Okay, you have only 25 minutes to solve this 20 questions. Okay, so if you want to clear this section, because you need individual cutoff actually. So numerical ability you have to clear, then verbal ability you have to clear, and reasoning also you have to clear. Okay, so you need to solve at least 12 to 50 questions correctly. So it has to be correct, not just attempt, it has to be correct. Okay, and the questions are of easy to medium difficult only, not very difficult, not easy to medium level. Now, when it comes to verbal ability, there will be 25 questions actually, not 20 questions, there will be 25 questions, and you need to answer them under 25 minutes. So 1 minute for each question. Now, compared to numerical ability and reasoning section, people used to say that the verbal ability section is comparatively easier. Okay, that is why you have 25 questions to be answered in 25 minutes. Then there is reasoning section. So in this section, there are 20 questions. You have 20 questions, you need to solve under 25 minutes. Okay, now here again, 12 to 14 questions is what you need to clear. Okay, the difficulty is again from easy to medium. Now for digital and prime role, as I told you, the candidate should answer at least 70 to 80% of the questions correctly. That means if there is 20 questions in quantitative aptitude, the numerical section, then 14 to 16 questions you need to make it correct to get the better package, that is digital or prime. Okay, for every section, for numerical, verbal, and reason. Okay, so that is regarding with the foundational part. That is the part A. Now part B, it is an advanced section. So in advanced section, you have advanced quantitative aptitude and reasoning. There is no verbal in the advanced part. Then advanced coding easy question. Then advanced coding medium question. Because in coding, there are 2 questions only 2 questions. Okay. Now in advanced quant and reasoning, there will be 14 questions and 25 minutes. Now compared to the foundation level, these advanced questions are a bit difficult. Okay. So you'll be having quantitative skills, and like it will have 10 questions. Sorry. Yeah, it is 25 minutes, not 20 minutes here. 25 minutes and 14 questions. Okay, that was the last year pattern. Now, in advanced reasoning ability segment, which lasts for like 15 minutes, there will be like reasoning questions which will be asked. Then you have advanced coding section. Now in that, there will be 2 questions. You have to answer in 90 minutes actually. So which is like an extensive session. 90 minutes, it is like 1.5 hours. So you have 1.5 hours and just 2 questions. And one will be an easy question and one will be a medium question. Okay, that will be the pattern actually for the coding round. So tomorrow we are planning to have the coding question discussion. So our mentor will be there. Coding mentor will be there. She'll be discussing the most frequently asked coding questions in tomorrow's discussion session. Okay, so this is the pattern. So for this particular session, in today's session, I'll be focusing on your quantitative part, that is the numerical ability part. Okay, so I'll be discussing. I have selected 10 previously asked questions. Okay, so these questions were asked previously in 2024, 2023, and 2021 and all. Most of the questions are asked after 2020. Okay, so as I told you, every year they conduct the TCS NQT exam. So these are some carefully selected questions from multiple topics. Now, when it comes to quantitative aptitude, the topics that you need to focus are percentages, then time and work, then averages, then number system, then you have data interpretation, simple interest, compound interest, then profit and loss, then ratio proportion. So all these things you need to actually focus. Okay, most of the numerical ability question they will have questions from, because you have two sections. As I told you, there'll be foundational part. In that also there'll be quantitative numerical ability, and in the advanced part also there'll be numerical ability questions. So you have to go through all the questions. I'll just list. You can take a screenshot because I'll be erasing this. 1 second. I'll just change the color of the ink. Okay, so you have number system, you have percentages, ratios and proportion, then you have averages, then you have profit and loss, percentage I told you, time, speed and distance, time, speed and distance, then you have time and work, permutation, combination, okay, then you have probability, partnerships. Simple interest and compound interest. Okay, so these are the important numerical numerical topic that you need to focus. All right, so you can just take a screenshot if you want to just have the knowledge of topics. Any questions that you have? Yeah, so Medha, you have any question?
Yes, sir. Good evening. So actually, I have a doubt, like where we can get all these kind of questions
You
from
can
previous
find this.
papers.
Yeah, you can find this in Google actually. You can just search TCS previous year NQT questions.
Okay, so I actually checked for that, but I didn't get a way to search for coding questions.
Coding question, you
But
can
didn't get
tune in
any.
for tomorrow's session. Actually, our mentor will be discussing the coding question tomorrow's session.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start solving some questions. So I selected 10 questions for the discussion for today. So we'll try to finish maximum question in the next 30 to 45 minutes. So I'll give you 1 minute to actually go through this question. Then I'll tell you the answer for this question. So we can just give it a try. This is a question from percentage. Okay. So I'll give you exactly 1 minute. All right, so let us discuss this question. So see, if you normally try to do this question, there could be a lengthier method people adopt. Okay, so let's see what is actually given here. So it says that in an examination, 55% of the students passed, okay, and 621 failed. So you know that when you write an exam, so suppose you write an exam, what are the outcomes of the exam? Either you pass the exam or you fail the exam. So some people will pass and some people will fail. That's it. All right. Now it says that 55% of the students passed. So the percentage of people that pass the exam is 55. And the number who failed is 621. So both are two things actually. So one is given in percentage, the other one is given in numbers. Okay. So that is the first thing that you need to note here. So that is one information. Next, if the number of students for the exam was 69% of those who had applied. Now, we know that sometimes we register for the exam or we apply for the exam, we don't write the exam. So that's what happened here. 1 second, my pen is not. Yeah, so some people applied. Now, while reading the question, I can understand that not everyone who applied write the exam. Okay, not everyone who applied wrote the exam. So some of them did not write the exam. Now it's given that 69% of those who had applied for the exam wrote the exam. So only 69% of those who applied wrote the exam. Okay, now the question is, how many people applied for the exam? So this is a question I hope you understood. That's why I described it like a picture. So some people applied for the exam, but not everyone wrote the exam. Only 69% wrote the exam. Now, from those who wrote the exam, the people who passed is 55%, and those who failed is 621. Now, where will we start? We'll start from our values because we need to find the number of people who applied. We have to find the number of people who applied for the exam. That is what we need to find. So what we know is, we know the number of people who failed the exam. And also, we know the percentage of people who passed the exam. Now, we know that if 55% of people pass, then how much percentage fail? Could somebody tell me what will be the percentage of people who failed? What will be the percentage of people who failed? Question says the number of people who failed, but I want the percentage of people who failed. Can somebody tell me how much will be the percentage of people who failed?
45.
45, exactly. Why? Because we know that totally there will be 100%. Total should add up to 100% because there are only two outcomes for an exam. Either you pass the exam or you fail the exam. So if 55% of people pass the exam, that means 45% of people fail the exam. So I can write 45% is equal to the failure. And how much is that failed people? So 45% corresponds to 621. Now, what is the total number of people who wrote the exam? That is what I'm going to find. Now, for that, we can use common sense. Say if 45% of the people fail, 55% of people pass, the total people who wrote the exam will be 100%. Okay, So from this information, I need to find what is 100%. Now, how can you do that? Very simple. I am going to find if 45% corresponds to 621, how much will be 5%? If 45% is equal to 621 students, then how much will be 5%? I'll tell you why am I looking for 5. Okay. So how do you find 5? To make 45 to 5. To make 45 to 5, what should I do? I should divide by 9.
Right, 9.
Yeah. LHS should be equal to RHS. So if I'm dividing by 9 here also I should divide by 9. So 621, if I divide by 9, 9 will go how many times? 6 times. 6 nines are 54. So remainder is 8. 81, 9 will go 9 times. So 69. Okay. So 5% is 69. So 100% will be, now what should I do? How will you make 5 to 100? Multiply by 20. So here also you multiply by 20. So 69 into 20 will give you what? 138 and append the 0. 1380. Now what is this 1380? What is that number?
Total number of people
Total number of people?
who applied for the examination.
No. It's not the total number of people
Okay,
who
sorry,
applied. Actually,
failed persons.
no, it is the total number of people who wrote the exam. Okay. Now the question paper setter, the one who set the question paper, is trying to actually play with your calculation also, because they have given you an option 1380. Now what will happen to most of the people? They will get carried away because you are writing a competitive exam. You will be all excited. You will go and mark this answer and you will get a wrong answer. That is not the right answer. What is the question actually? They're asking how many people applied for the exam, not how many people wrote the exam. This value that you got here is the number of people who wrote the exam. That is not what I want. I want the number of people who applied. Okay. So again, I need to do some calculation. So that is what I'm going to do now. Let's see. So from the total people who applied, how much percentage wrote the exam? Only 69. So 69% of the applied people wrote the exam. And how much is that? 1380. So what is the total number of applied people? It should be 100%. It should be 100%. So I'll again revise it. We know that 55% of people pass the exam, 621 fail the exam. Okay. And only 69% of the people who applied for the exam wrote the exam. The question that they are asking to find is what is the total number of people who applied for the exam. Now, from this information, what we did was, if for an exam there are only two outcomes, either you pass the exam or you fail the exam. If the pass percentage is 55, the fail percentage is 45. Now 45% corresponds to the total number of people who failed, which is 621. Now from that we figured out what is 100%. That means the total number of people who write the exam. So for that I did some simplification here. 45 divided by 9, 5%. So here also 621 divided by 9, I got 69. Now in order to make it 100, we multiply by 20 on both the sides. So I got 1380. Now 1380 is the total number of people who wrote the exam. But from the applied, only 69% wrote the exam. That means 69% corresponds to 1380. Now what should I do? I need to find 100%. So if 69% is 1380, what will be 1%? Now, why am I going to calculate 1%? Because I cannot make 69 to 100 just like what I did here. Here I made 5 to 100 by multiplying by 20. Here that is not possible because 69 is not a factor of 100 and all. So that is why I'm going to find 1%. So if 69% is 1380, 1% will be 1380 divided by 69. Okay. Now we know that 69 goes 2 times in 138. So it will be 20. Okay. So if 1% corresponds to 20 applicants, 100% will corresponds to 2000 applicants. So your answer is option 3. Is that clear? So it's a kind of a medium kind of question. Okay, I just use only the percentage concept. I did not use X, Y, things like that and all. It is completely concept oriented. Okay, 55% is pass, I mean people who passed. So I can assume that 45% failed. Now 45% corresponds to 621, and from that we calculated what is the total number of people who wrote the exam, which is 1380. Now we know that of the applied people, only 69% wrote the exam. Hence, 69% is equal to 1380, and 1% is equal to 20, 100% is equal to 2000. All right, so let's try the next question now. Now, this is a question from profit and loss. So please give it a try. I'll give you 1 minute exactly. All right, so let's discuss this question. So it says that after purchasing 2 copies of the same book, X sold them respectively at 0.8 and 1.4 times their cost price. What was the percentage gain earned or loss incurred by X? So that's a person X. He bought, 2 copies of the same book. Now that means if you are buying 2 copies of the same book, then the price will be same, right? Okay, so you go to a shop, you bought 2 similar items, then that means you are paying same price for both of them. Now what happened? This person sold them respectively at 0.8 and 1.4 times their cost price. So you sold it actually. Say suppose I am the shopkeeper. I go to a bookstore. I got 2 same books. Say for example, Wings of Fire by APJ Abdul Kalam. I got it for same price because I bought 2 copies. Now one book I sold it 0.8 times the rate, and the other book I sold it 1.4 times the cost price. Now the question they are asking is, what is the percentage of gain or loss incurred? So first of all, we need to figure out whether I as a shopkeeper had a loss or a profit. Then if I had a loss, what is the loss percentage? If I had a profit, what is the profit percentage? Now here, we don't know what is actually the price of the book. So let's do one thing. Let's assume the book costed 100 rupees. Okay, 100 rupees is the price of 2 books. Okay, so both are same book. So this is first book, this is second book. Now what happened? I'm saying that I sold this, the first one, at 0.8 times. So 0.8 times means into 0.8. So it means 80 rupee. This is again an assumption. I'm not saying that the price of the book is 100. We are just assuming it because the question did not mention about anything about the price of the book. The price of the book is not given. So I just assumed it 100 rupee. Let it be 100. So if it is 100, then I am selling it at 0.8 times. So it is 80 rupee. Now the other book I sold 1.4 times the price. So that means it is 140 rupee. All right. So what is the total cost price of mine? 100 plus 100, that is 200 rupee. So the total cost price is equal to 200 rupee. And I sold it at 80 and 140. So total selling price is how much? 220. So 2 books I bought for 200 rupee. Now when I sold it, I got 220 rupee. So did I have a profit or loss? It is profit. So it is profit. How much rupees profit? 20 rupee profit. So the profit is 20 rupee. Now is that the question? No. I need to calculate the percentage of gain or loss. Gain means profit. So how will you calculate profit percentage or gain percentage? So profit percentage or gain percentage is equal to profit. What is the profit value divided by what is the cost price into 100. That's the formula. So you need to remember this. Profit percentage is what? Profit divided by cost price into 100. So here my profit that I made is 20 rupee. I bought 2 books for 200. I sold it for 220. So the profit is 20 rupee. Now what is the cost price? 200 rupees the total cost price into 100. Okay. So you can cancel this out. So what is your answer? 10%. 10% what? Gain. So answer is option 2. So is that clear? Great. Let's go to the next question. Now this is a question from number system. Actually divisible by 9. Okay. Divisible by 9. So just make a correction if you have any confusion there. I'll give you 1 minute for this. Should we discuss? So the question says that 53P26P3 is a 7-digit number. Okay, so 53P26 P3 is a 7-digit number divisible by 9. So this is a number divisible by 9. Okay, so 9, say for example, it is a multiple of 9. Divisible by 9 means it is a multiple of 9. So 9 times n. So n is just a random number just to denote that this is the number which is divisible by 9. And if 757 QP, 757 QP is divisible by 8. So this is some 8x. Okay, some x is a random number because I just want to show you that this is a multiple of 8. That's it. Then the minimum value of p plus q. So we have to find what is the minimum value of p plus q. Now, how will we proceed this? So look at here. 53P26P3 is divisible by 9. What is the divisibility rule of 9? What is the divisibility rule of 9? How will you check whether a number is divisible by 9? There is a condition, no? Will you check that? We are learned in our school days. How will you check whether a number is divisible by 9? Anyone? The divisibility rule of 9 is sum of the digits of the number should be divisible by 9. Sum of the digits of the number. So you have to take the sum of the digits. So 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 2, 10, 10 plus 6, 16, 16 plus 3, 19. And there are 2p. So 19 plus 2p should be a multiple of 9. Okay? Should be a multiple of 9. Now, I don't need to put this 9 here or anything, you can just put it. Just to understand. These are just for understanding. So the sum of the digits is 19 plus 2p. That 19 plus 2p should be a multiple of 9. Now, what are the possibilities here? So we can substitute, let's substitute values for 1. So n, if I substitute n equal to 1, then this is 9. So this cannot be possible because already we have 19. Then if I substitute n equal to 2, then it is only 18. That is not possible. If I substitute n equal to 3, so if I substitute n equal to 3, what will happen? 27. So 19p is equal to 27. Also, there could be other possibility also. I'm not very sure whether it is n is equal to 3 or n is equal to any other value. If I put it n is equal to 4, what will happen? If I put n equal to 4, then it will be 36. So 19 plus 2p is equal to 36. That is also possible. So for the time being, let us limit it. So if 19 plus 2p is equal to 27, what is p? Can somebody tell me if 19 plus 2p is equal to 27, what is 2p? Sorry, what is p? How you do it? Just solve this equation, right? 27 minus 19 divided by 2. If 19 plus 2p is equal to 27, then p is equal
4,
to
sir.
27 minus 19 divided by 2. That is 4 exactly. So p could be equal to 4. Okay. Now, if 19 plus 2p is equal to 36, then what will be the value for p? Let's solve it. 19 plus 2p is equal to 36, then p will be equal to 36 minus 19 divided by 2. Now 36 minus 19 will be equal to 17. 17 by 2 is equal to 8.5. Now that is not possible because p and q are what? Digits of a number. That cannot be a decimal value. It should be an integer value because these are digits. So that means n is equal to 4 is not possible, or 19 plus 2p is equal to 36 is not possible. So we got the value for p. We got the value for p. P is equal to 4. Okay. Now that's not the question. We are not done the answer. Now what will happen? Some people will go and just mark 4 because out of excitement. But the question is not complete. There is something else also. What is that? 757 QP is divisible by 8. Okay. So this number is divisible by 8. Now what is the divisibility rule of 8? Divisibility rule of 8. If a number is divisible by 8, then the last 3 digits of the number should be divisible by 8. Okay. If a number is divisible by 8, then the last 3 digits of the number should be divisible by 8. So here the last 3 digit, I'll just change the color of the pen so that you can just distinguish between both. So 7QP. Now what is the value for P? We already figured out. It is 4. So that means 7Q4 is a 3-digit number which should be divisible by 8. Now, why am I telling that? Because the question says that this number is divisible by 8. So if a number is divisible by 8, then the last 3 digits should be divisible by 8. And the last 3 digits are 7QP. Now, if P is equal to 4, okay, 7Q4 is a number divisible by 8. Okay, now we have to just substitute the value. There is nothing else we can do. We'll just keep on substituting the value for Q, like 1, 2, 3, etc. up to 9 and see. Okay, now we have to remember one more thing. You don't need to put each and every value. Why? Because they are asking for the minimum value of P plus Q. Minimum value. So already we got established the minimum value for P, which is 4. Now we just need to find the minimum value for Q also. That's it. So let's put Q is equal to 1. If Q is equal to 1, 714. Let me check whether this is divisible by 8. It is not divisible. So eliminated. Next number is 2. So 724. Check whether this number is divisible by 8. That is also not divisible. You can check and verify. I'm not wasting the time by actually checking. Then next number is 734. Divide that by 8 and check. There is no other go. Okay, there is no other shortcut because when it is a rule of 8, only shortcut is take the last 3 digit, check whether it is a multiple. That's it. Next number 744. When you divide 744 by 8, it will divide. Okay, 8 will go how many times? 9 times. 8 9s are 72. Reminder is 2. 24, 8 will go 3 times. So that means it is perfectly divisible. So what is the minimum value for Q? It is 4. So the minimum value for P is 4. The minimum value is Q is 4. Okay. Now what are they asking? The minimum value for P plus Q. So if P is 4 and Q is 4 minimum value, then the minimum value for P plus Q is 8. Okay. It's not a question where you can apply so many shortcuts and all. It's just I feel this is like a boring question because there is nothing exciting that I can do like the previous question. All right. Oh, 0 is there. I did not check. I missed it properly. Let me work out. If 0 is there, then 4 will be the answer. 704, right? 704, 8 will go 64 times. So 8 8s are 64. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you, Nimbus. That's right. So minimum value for Q is not 4, actually. It should be 0. Great. So it is 2, not 3. I was just thinking about 1 to 9. I missed actually the 0 part. Thank you. Yes. Great job. All right. So let's try the next question. Please give it a try. It's a question from average. Do you have the answer? So this question is an average question. It says that the average of 15 players points at a football match is 15, and that of the first 8 are 20, and that of the last 8 being 18. Okay, so totally how many players are there? 15 players. Okay, so if I just put like 1, 2, 3, just these people standing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, just to give you a visual understanding. That's it. So if I take the average of the points, okay, then it is 15. If I take the average of points, then it is 15. Now it says that the first 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the first 8. So if I take the average of the points of the first 8, it is 20. The average is 20. And that of the last 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. The last 8 is what? It is 18. Okay. So this is what is given. You have to find what was the 8th player's observation or the 8th player's point. Now, which is the 8th player? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the 8th player. All right. Now we know that sum is equal to average into number. Okay, this is a formula. Or average, all the other expression is average is equal to sum of the value divided by the number of terms. They do both. The same thing is only here. So we know that if there are a total of 15 players and the average of the 15 players is 15, then the total sum will be 15 to 15, that is 225. Okay, so the if I take the sum of the average of sum of the points, then it is 225. Also, the first 8 people's average, that is the first 8 people, the average is 20, which is equal to like 160. Now, the last 8 people's average is 18. So 8 into 18 will be the sum of the last 8 people's scores. So 8 into 18 will be how much? 80 plus 64, which is equal to 144. Am I right? 80 plus 64. Yeah, 144. That's it. Okay. Now we know that the total sum is 225. That means we are counting the sum of the points of all the 15 players. Now this calculation gives you the sum of the first 8. This calculation gives you the sum of the last 8. Now we can see that this person, that 8th person, is actually overlapping in both the cases. So what is we are asked to find? We have to find what is the 8th player's point. So what will I do is I'll add these two sums. Okay. So that means this one and this one. Okay. So it is 160 plus 144, which will give you what? 304. Now from that, I'll subtract the total sum, which is 225. Okay. Now what is the difference? That is actually the 8th person score. Why? Because it is counted twice. Here also it got counted when I computed the sum. Here also it got counted when I compute the last 8 people's sum. There also it got counted. So it got counted twice. So when we subtract the total sum, we'll exactly get what is the answer. Now what is remaining now? 304 minus 225 is nothing but 79. So your answer is option 4, that is 79. Is that clear? There's no confusion, right? Shall I go to the next one? Next question. Okay. Anyone? Okay, so what's the question here? It says that a restaurant serves small pizzas of 6-inch diameter, okay, and the regular pizza of 9-inch diameter. If a small pizza is priced at 200, then what is a fair price for a larger pizza of the same type? Now, it says that we have a pizza of 6-inch diameter. So this is a small pizza. Diameter is this. So this is how much? 6-inch. All right. And we have a regular pizza of 9-inch diameter. Okay. If the small pizza is priced at 200, then what is a fair price for the larger pizza? We have to find the price of this. So normally, what will happen? We pay price according to the size. So they are asking if
ആരായത് എനക്ക് മനസ്സിലായിട്ടില്ല കറക്റ്റ്.
somebody's mic is actually
മറ്റേ
unmuted.
വലിയ മുടിയില്ലേ? ആ
Now, Das, could you please unmute your,
ആ
I mean, mute your
ഓർക്ക്
mic?
എത്ര വയസ്സായിരിക്കും?
Now, Das, could you please mute your mic? Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so we have a small pizza which have 6-inch diameter, and the price is 200. Now we have to find what could be the price of the 9-inch diameter pizza. This is a question. Now what will happen mostly is people will just go ahead with this. Okay, if 6 inches costing 200, how much will 9-inch will cost? This is what most people will do. So you can see that 9 inches 50% more than 6-inch, right? 9 inches 50% more. Okay, so similarly people will do what? Okay, so the price will be 50% more. Now what is 50% of 200? 100 rupees more. So they will go ahead with 300. That is where the problem lies actually. Okay, this is the calculation that some will do, that you will end up getting the answer 300. That is wrong. Okay, now pizza, what is the shape of the pizza? It's circle in shape. So what will be the amount of dough that we use? It will be the area actually, area of this pizza. Now what is the area of a circle? Area of a circle, it is pi r square. So if the diameter is 6, then radius will be 3. So the area will be pi r square. What is r? 3. So 3 square. Okay, what is 3 square? 9. So 9 pi is the area. 9 pi units is my area. So for 9 pi unit of pizza, we have to pay 200 rupees. Okay, now what will be the area of the larger pizza? 9 inches the diameter, so the radius will be half of it, that is 4.5. Okay, so pi r square, that is pi into 4.5 square. Pi into 4.5 square will be the area of the second pizza. So I hope that's clear. Now what is 4.5 square? That is 20.25. So if 9 pi is equal to 200, then 20.25 pi is equal to how much rupee you will spend? That is a question. Okay, that you can compute, very simply here. How much times is 20.25 when you compare 9? That calculation, if you know, then it's pretty simple. So 20.25 is actually how much times? 2.25 times. So this one will be 2.25 times. So 200 into 2.25 will be 450. So 450 rupee is the fair price of the regular pizza. Clear?
Sir, can you explain the last step once more?
The last step means the part which I wrote at the top.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here, what we did, I'll just write once again. So I hope you understood this. So the price of the pizza is calculated not on the diameter basis, rather on the area of the circle, because pizza is a circle. So the area of the smaller pizza is actually 9 pi, and the area of the larger pizza is 20.25 pi. So if 9 pi area pizza cost me 200 rupees, what will be the price of 20.25 pi area pizza? That's a question. Okay, so we need to find how much more is this size. How will you find that out actually? 20.25 divided by 9. Now, when you do that, you'll find it is 2.25. 2.25 times. So 20.25 is actually 2.25 times 9. So when the area is 2.25 times, the cost also will be 2.25 times. Okay, so 200 into 2.25 times is nothing but 450 rupees, which is option A. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the next one. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute. Seven factorial 5040. 7 factorial. No, you have to check it again, I guess. So instead of explaining this, I'll take a simple case. Okay. Say for example, you have a word. Okay. This is actually permutation combination. So imagine that you have a word G-R-E-A-T. Imagine you have this. Okay, it's a 5-letter word. How many different words can you form from these letters? You have a 5-letter word. How many 5-letter words can you form from these 5 letters? Okay, so those who don't know, if there are n characters or n alphabets, then you can form n factorial words. So here the n is 5, so it is 5 factorial, which is equal to 120. 5 factorial means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. This is what you mean by 5 factorial. All right. So now, if I ask you, how many 5-letter words can you form using the letters of the word great such that vowels are always together? Vowels are always together. Okay. The question I've slightly changed. How many 5-letter words can you form using the using the letters of the word great such that vowels are together? Now, what are the vowels here? E and A. So E and A has to be always together. So if E and A is always together, they will not split apart. They'll be like a couple, always be together. Okay. So E, A, they will be always be together. They will always stick around. All right. So if they stick around, can I consider them as a single alphabet? There'll be a single alphabet, one single alphabet. Okay. So G, R, T, we have 3 unique alphabet, but E and A, they always stick together like a couple. Okay. That means we have only 1, 2, 3, 4 alphabets. So if there are 4 alphabets, they can be arranged in 4 factorial ways. But there is one problem. The E and A are different alphabet. So if I interchange the position of A and D, that becomes a different, use case. So I need to consider that also. So within the circle, there are 2 alphabets E and A, and that can be arranged in 2 factorial ways. So your answer is what? 4 factorial into 2 factorial. What is 4 factorial? 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That is 24. 2 factorial is what? 2 into 1. That is 2. So 24 into 2, 48. So is this clear? This is just an example to make you understand the concept of permutation. Permutation means what? Arrangement. How many arrangements are possible? The count. Okay. So if there are n alphabets, you can arrange that in n factorial way. Yeah, Bhavya. You have any doubt? Right. I'll just carry on. So if there are 5 letters, like in the word great, then that can be arranged in 5 factorial ways, which is 120. Now I slightly change the question. If there are 5 letters in the word great, and I'm asking you, how many 5-letter words can you form such that the vowels are together? Vowels has to be together. How many words can be formed? Now, how many vowels are there? There are 2 vowels. So the vowels has to be together means they'll be always together. They'll stick together like a single unit. So if they stick together like a single unit, I'll consider that as a 1 letter. So you have 1 letter here, 2 letter here, 3 letter here, 4 letter here. So 4 factorial. But why this 2 factorial is coming again? Because say they will stick together as a single unit, but they might interchange their position. A might sit in E's position, E might sit in A's position. Say for example, EAGRT will be one word and AEGRT will be a different word, but the vowels will be always together. Okay, or GAERT will be one word, GEART will be another word, but again the position of vowel hasn't changed. Okay, so that is why we consider that. So I hope that is clear. Now, if I ask you a question, how many words are there in the word great such that the vowels are not together? Okay, how many letters are there in the word great such that the vowels are not together. Now, it's very simple now. We know how many total words can be formed, that is 120. We know how many words can be formed where vowels are together, that is 48. So how many words are there in which vowels are not together? How many words are there in which vowels are not together will be total arrangement minus the case in which vowels are together. So in 48 cases, the vowels are together. Total, there were 120 cases. So the remainder will be the cases in which vowels are not together. Okay, so I hope the logic is clear. Now, why I explain this is because this is a simple example. Now, using this concept, I am going to answer our question. So in our question, it says that there's a set of mugs. So mugs, okay, the one which we drink water or coffee or tea, that's what you call mugs. So I have a set of mugs, which there are 5 plastic mugs, okay, each of different design. So each plastic mug is different design. So let me call it as plastic mug. Let me call it as P1. So P1 is there, P2 is there, P3 is there, P4 is there, P5 is there. These are the plastic mugs. And 2 glass mugs of different design. So there are G1 and G2 glass design mugs. Okay. In how many ways can these 7 mugs be arranged? In a row. In a row means just like a word. Now I have, imagine that you have these letters P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, G1, G2. Now we have to arrange that in a row. So just like forming a word. Now the question is, if the glass mugs are separated from each other, so the glass mugs should not be next to each other. So what are we going to do? First of all, we'll find the total arrangement. What is the total arrangement? Totally, we have 7 mugs. So 7 mugs can be arranged in 7 factorial ways. 7 factorial is what? 7 into 6 into 5 into etc. up to 1. So this is the total arrangement. Total arrangement. Now what will we find? Arrangement in which glass mugs are together. Glass mugs should be together. Why is that? Because if you figure that out, then you can subtract this value from this value and get the answer. Because we are asked to find the case in which the glass mugs are not together. So if the glass mugs are together, then G1 and G2 has to be always like a couple. They will always be together. And the plastic mugs are P1, P2, P3, P4, and P5. Okay, so if this unit is together, this is considered as one set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 things can be arranged in 6 factorial ways. But the glass 1 and the glass 2 can be exchanged. So that is 2 factorial. Okay, so the total arrangement is what? 7 factorial. And the glass mugs together arrangement is 6 factorial into 2 factorial. So what will be your answer? Answer is nothing but total arrangement minus the arrangement in which glass mugs are together. So we need to just subtract it. So let me just subtract it. 7 factorial is the total arrangement minus 6 factorial into 2 factorial. Okay. Now we know that what is 7 factorial? 7 into 6 into 5 into etc. So can I say 7 factorial is nothing but 7 into 6 factorial? Isn't it? So I am taking this 6 factorial common outside to get the answer. If I take 6 factorial common outside, it will be 7 minus 2 factorial. Okay. So 6 factorial is how much? 6 into 5 into 4 into 3. That is 6 into 5 factorial. 6 into 5 factorial is 120. So 6 into 120 is equal to 720. So 720 into 7 minus 2 factorial. 2 factorial is 2. So 720 into 5 will be the answer, which is 3600. Is this clear? So yeah, Rohit, I hope it's clear because you answered 7 factorial. 7 factorial is the total arrangement of all the mugs. But our question is, we have to find in which glass mugs are not together. So what we did is, total arrangement is, totally there are 7 mugs, so 7 factorial. But if the glass mugs are together, then it is 6 factorial into 2 factorial. And the case in which glass mugs are not together will be total arrangement minus 6 factorial into 2 factorial. Okay. So let's try this question. Yeah, so shall we discuss? So what it says is A can do a work in double the time than what B takes to do it, and B can do it the same work in double the time that what C takes to do it. If A and B together can complete the work in 4 days, then in how many days can C alone complete the same work? So there are multiple ways to do this question. So let me explain this question by a different method. So say for example, it says that A takes twice what B takes. I mean the time taken. Okay. And B takes twice the time taken by C. What is that we are asked to find? We have to find the time taken by C alone to do this work. Okay, that is what we need to find. So let us assume, this is pure assumption now. I'm just assuming that C can do the work in 1 day. Okay, I'm just assuming. I'm not sure whether it is right or wrong. I'm just assuming C can do the work in 1 day. Then what will happen to B? B takes double the time than what C takes, which means 2 days. Okay. Now A will take how much time? A will take double the time that what B takes, which means 4 days. Okay. Now what is given? It is given that if A and B together complete the work in 4 days. See, I told you these are all my assumptions. I'm not sure whether this is right or wrong. I assume that A can do a work in 1 day. B will take double the time. So B 2 days. A will take double the time of B. That means 4 days. But the question says that A and B together can complete the work in 4 days. Now, if A can complete the work in 4 days and B can complete the work in 2 days, when they are working together. So I hope you know time and work. So that is why I'm proceeding. The normal procedure is like that. If A can do a work in 4 days, B can do the same work in 2 days. Then if A and B are working together, then the time taken by A and B together can be computed using this method. This is called the LCM method, right? So if A can complete a task in 4 days, B can complete a task in 2 days, the time taken by A and B to complete the task together, how do you compute it? You take the LCM of the number of days listed here. What is the LCM of 4 and 2? It is 4. So imagine that there is 4 units of work to be done. Okay. If that is done by A, he will take 4 days. If 4 units can be done by A in 4 days, then the work ratio of A is 1 unit per day. 1 unit per day. Right? Also, if B can do 4 units in 2 days, the 1 day work of B will be 4 divided by 2, that is 2 units per day. So together, if A and B are working together, they both can do 3 units per day. 3 units per day. All right. So the time taken by A and B to together do the work will be 4 units divided by 3 units per day. That is 4 by 3. So this is the time taken by A and B together to do the work if these are the values. Now, these are all my assumptions, but let us come back to the question. What did the question say? The question said that A and B took 4 days. Okay. A and B took 4 days. That is what the question says. These were all my assumptions. Okay. I was not sure. I just assumed. So if C is taking 1 day, according to my question, B will take double the time. If B is taking 2 days, then according to question, A will take double the time. So if A is taking 4 days, B is taking 2 days, combined, if they're working together, they will take 4 by 3 days. But that is wrong, because according to the question, it is 4 days. So my assumption of 4 by 3 corresponds to 4. Okay, my assumption corresponds to 4 days in the question. Now, what is that you need to find? The question that we are asked to find is how many days can C alone complete the work? Now, what is our assumption regarding C? Our assumption regarding C is 1 day. So 1 day of my assumption will correspond to how much? That is what I need to find. So if 4 by 3 correspond to 4, then 1 will correspond to how much? If 4 by 3 correspond to 4, then 1 will correspond to 3 days. That's it. I hope that is clear. If 4 by 3 corresponds to 4, then 1 will correspond to what? How will you do that? To make 4 by 3 to 1, we have to multiply by 3 by 4. So here also you have to multiply by 3 by 4. So when you multiply by 3 by 4, when you multiply 4 by 3 by 4, your answer will be 3 days. Okay, so I just did a pure assumption here. Okay, but you need to actually know time and work procedure to solve this question. Okay, the time and work procedure when two people are working to compute the number of days is this. So I did that based on that particular logic. Okay, A can do a work in 4 days, B can do it in 2 days. So working together, this is the case. So according to our assumption, A and B will take 4 by 3 day, but according to the question, it is 4 day. Now, what are we asked to find? We have to find the number of days taken by C alone. According to our assumption, it is 1. So that means it will correspond to 3. All right. Okay, somebody answered already. Sneha said 3 days. That's right. Good. All right, guys. So we'll do one thing. We'll just close the session for the time being. I was only able to do 7 questions, already 9. So we'll wind up the session now. So tomorrow you'll be having the the coding question, previous year coding question, which will be discussed. Same time, 7:30, and day after tomorrow also we'll be discussing coding. So I'll be back on I guess on Saturday. So on Saturday we'll be discussing the remaining 3 questions of this. Also we'll discuss some more extra logical questions. All right. So if you have any doubts or something, you can just post in the chat right now. We'll just try to take 3 minutes to answer if you have any doubt. Otherwise, we'll call it this day and we'll continue the discussion on the remaining 3 questions as well as the logical reasoning question on Saturday. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you'll be having the coding question discussion. Coding question, you are free to choose any language. Tomorrow we'll be discussing using Python. All right. So thank you for joining the session. Wish you all the best for your actual exam actually. So please stay tuned for tomorrow's session as well. Thank you.